Hello everyone, welcome back to our YouTube channel. In today's lecture we are going to discuss about the sewer appurtenance. Let's start with definition of sewer appurtenance. Sewer appurtenance are the various accessories on the sewerage system and are necessary for efficient operation of the system. Basically, sewer appurtenance are those structures which are constructed at the suitable intervals along the sewerage system and helps in its efficient operation and maintenance. These devices include manhole, drop manhole, lamp hole, cleanouts, street inlets called gullies, catch basin, flushing tanks, grease and oil traps, inverted siphon, and stormwater regulator. Let us discuss with manhole. First, what is meant by manhole? Manhole are masonry or RCC chamber constructed at suitable interval along the sewer lines for providing access into them. Manhole are classified as follow, that is first shallow manhole, normal manhole and deep manhole. Let's see what is shallow manhole. Shallow manhole is about 0.7 to 0.9 meter depth. It is constructed at start of a branch sewer or at a place which are not subjected to heavy traffic. Such manhole is provided with a light cover at its top and is called as inspection chamber. Generally, this type of manhole are provided at domestic areas only. Next, deep manhole. It is having a depth more than 1.5 meter. Basically, the basic difference between these three manholes, that is shallow, normal, and deep, is consist with depth. The less greater depth have consist deep manhole. The section of such manhole is generally not kept same. The size in the upper portion is reduced by providing an offset. Steps etc. are provided in such manhole for facilitating descending into the manhole and to enable the workers to go up into the bottom. This is a systematic diagram of deep manhole. This is manhole cover, RCC slab, wall, this is masonry brick wall, branch sewer, benching, main sewer, concrete base, and this is a section about AA. This is a section about AA. So this is a systematic diagram of deep manhole. Next, let us discuss about drop manhole. The drop manhole, in which the vertical pipe is used, called as a drop manhole. When a branch sewer enters a manhole by more than 0.5 meter to 0.6 meter above the main sewer, the sewage is generally not allowed to fall into the manhole directly. In that cases, a vertical pipe is provided to get that sewer line into the main sewer. The sewage is brought into it through a drop pipe, down pipe taken from the branch sewer to the bottom of the manhole. This is a systematic diagram of drop manhole. If any branch sewer, as in shown in this figure, if any branch sewer is having depth 0.5 to 0.6 meter from this main sewer, okay, so in that condition we cannot allow this branch sewer to get directly access into this main sewer. Therefore we have to made a provision of a vertical pipe to reduce this distance, this vertical distance, and after providing this vertical pipe, the branch sewer is get into access into main sewer from certain limited height. Okay, so in this condition, when the branch sewer having height 0.5 to 0.6 meter from main sewer, so in that condition a vertical pipe is provided, and whenever the vertical pipe is provided in any manhole, that manhole is called as drop manhole. Next, lamp hole. Lamp hole are the small openings on the sewer to permit the insertion of lamp into the sewer. The lamp light is then viewed from the upstream as well as a downstream manhole. The obstructed light confirms the obstruction in the sewer. Basically, lamp hole provide a provision to check the obstruction between inlet and outlet of any sewer. If suppose there is any material stuck between inlet and outlet, then the insertion of light is completely not get from one side to other side. Therefore, from if the light is completely inserted from one side to other side, it can be concluded as there is no obstruction. Or if light cannot be seen from one point to other point, we can conclude that there is some obstruction and we have to clean our manhole. This is a systematic diagram of lamp hole. Two types of lamp hole are shown, that is pipe lamp hole and brick lamp hole. Next, cleanouts. Cleanouts is an inclined pipe extending from the ground and connected to the underground sewer. It is used for cleaning sewer pipes. Basically, cleanouts is provided for cleaning out this if this drain pipe having some obstruction or having some conjunction. So we can remove this cover, and this is cleanouts having certain angle from this main sewer, and after removing this cover we can flush water from there and the whole obstruction get cleared from cleanouts. A cleanout is generally provided at the upper end of lateral sewer in a pipe or place of a manhole. The functioning of a cleanout is very simple and it consists of removing this lid, as I told before. That's removing this cover, top cover, and forcing the water through the cleanouts pipes to the lateral sewer to remove the obstacles in the sewer line. If obstructions are large enough, a flexible rod may be inserted or may be provided through the cleanouts and push forward and backward to remove the obstacle. So basically this cleanouts is provided for removing the obstacle in drain pipe. Next is street inlets. Street inlets are the gullies or opening on the road surface at the lowest point for draining the rainwater from the roads and admitting it into the underground stormwater sewers called as drains or combined sewers. Basically, these inlets are therefore located along the roadside on the straight road at an interval of 30 meter to 60 meter or so. That interval may be depend on the size of road. At the intersection points, they are usually located as shown in figure. You can see in this figure. In this figure, the slope or street is shown by the arrows. Here you can see here by arrows. Okay, and the inlets are placed in such a way that the crosswalks will not be flooded. Placing of inlet at the corners not only requires the pedestrian to step across the flooded gutters but also subject the inlets to considerable traffic wear and damage. The inlets are connected to the nearby manhole by the pipelines as the branches. Okay, in this figure we can also see that cleanouts. Next is flushing tank. It is provided when there are chances of blockage, when the self-cleaning velocity of a sewer is very less, or when the pipe is laid straight. It is also placed at the dead end points of sewer. These devices stores water temporarily and through it into the sewer from the purposes of flushing and cleaning the sewer. Types of flushing tanks are automatic flushing tank and hand operated flushing tank. Automatic flushing tanks. In this type of flushing tanks, the flushing operation is carried out automatically at regular intervals. The entry of water is so regulated as to fill the tank up to the discharge point in a period equal to the flushing interval. An overflow pipe is also provided to drain away the water in case of tank fails to discharge and thereby overflows. The typical details of automatic flushing tank can be seen in this figure, which refers to this figure. The working operation of automatic flushing tanks is explained below. that initially when the tank is empty, the water level stand at upper surface as U-tube. As the water enters the tank through the inlet pipe, the water levels in the tank slowly goes on rising. The water level in the U-tube remains to this level till the water levels in the tanks remains below the level of sniff, that is the hole. But however, as the water in the tank goes above the level of the sniff hole, the air is caught and compressed in the bell portion. This compressed air is exerted pressure on the surface, and hence the water level gets depressed in the long arm of U-tube. The water level goes on decreasing more and more as the tank goes on filling more and more. Ultimately, the stage reaches when the water level in the longer arm of U-tube reaches the paint portion. When this happens, some compressed air gets released through the shorter arm of U-tube, and corresponding to the quantity of water enters to the bell. It is adjusted that the discharge line is just reached at this stage, and the head of water above the bell becomes greater than that is shorter arm of U-tube. The compressed air is suddenly removed from the longer arm of U-tube, and siphoning action starts, which releases the water from the tank into the sewer tank, falls up the sniff hole. The air then enters the bell portion through the sniff hole, and it breaks the siphonic action. The water levels in the two arms of U-tube again assumes portion A and B. The cycle goes on repeating, thus releasing the water in the sewer at regular interval. Next is grease and oil traps. Grease and oil traps are those traps chambers which are constructed in the sewerage system to remove the grease and oil from the sewage before it enters into the sewer line. Such traps are located near the sources contributing the grease and oil to the sewage. This is a systematic diagram of grease and oil traps. Next is sand, grease and oil traps. If the sand is also desired to be excluded from the sewage, its space should be kept at the bottom of chamber, so sand to be deposited. Next, inverted siphon. An inverted siphon is thus a sewer section constructed lower than the adjacent sewer section, and it is runs full under the gravity pressure greater than the atmosphere. Basically, whenever a sewer pipe has to be dropped below the hydraulic gradient line for passing a bench, for passing of under a valley, a road or railway stream, or tidal of any other depression in earth surface, or whenever it is passes beneath the some other obstruction, so inverted siphon can be constructed. Obstruction, if the obstruction in its parts, it will be known as inverted siphon or depressed sewer or sag pipe. The sewage through such a pipeline will not be flow under the gravity but will be flowing under the pressure. An inverted siphon is thus a sewer section constructed lower than the adjacent sewer section, and it's run full under the gravity with a pressure greater than the atmosphere. Okay, this is a systematic diagram of inverted siphon. If some ground depression comes across inlet and outlet chamber, then for tackling this depression or without straightening this pipeline, we can have some vertical depression in this pipe lid. So this, if this under this kind of any depression, if we construct any siphon, that called as inverted siphon. Next, stormwater regulators. They are constructed in the combined sewerage system and permit the diversion of excess stormwater into the nearby stream. Stormwater regulator may be following types, that is leaping weir, overflow weir and siphon spillway. Okay. In next lecture, we will going to discuss about the construction details of this sewer apparatus.